It's day 14 of our Northern Canada and Alaska adventure. We've been on the road now for 2 weeks, and in that time, we have traversed Alberta, northern British Columbia, the Yukon Territory, and the Northwest Territories, completing the legendary Klondike Highway, Dempster Highway, and Tuck Road. We've crossed the Arctic Circle and ended up at the Arctic Ocean, at the furthest place you can drive in all of Canada. The journey so far has been long but incredibly rewarding. It's not an impossible feat to get up to Tuktoyaktuk, but there are some sections of this adventure that have challenged us to our very limits. I'd have to say, this adventure is accessible to anyone who has some banked up time and a reliable enough vehicle, but be prepared to do some serious mileage. I suppose since there's no more north to drive, it's time to turn south towards our next objective of crossing Alaska in hopes of making it to the furthest western point you can drive in North America, Anchor Point. Preparation for this Alaska and Northern Canada adventure took an incredible amount of effort. From fixing a cracked frame on our Tacoma to researching and route planning, it took over 12 months of continual effort. This may sound like a bad thing to some, but for me, the repairs and planning were half the fun. People might think we're crazy for having put this much time and effort into reviving an old truck, and that we should probably have just bought something new from the dealer. For me, it's not just about driving a truck. It's about seeing the potential in something, working with your hands, and learning new skills, and ending up with something that's better than when you started. All of this begs the question though, why Toyota? What is the big deal about these machines? I've started asking myself these questions lately, and after putting this much time and effort into an old Toyota, I think I might have found the answers to my questions. There's a reason people fight to keep old Toyotas alive, refusing to let them fade into what a natural life cycle of a vehicle would be, or should be. I used to think it was just because they're simple and easy to work on and cheap to keep on the road, and while that's all true, it still doesn't explain the devotion. It's taken me years of driving, wrenching, and being around all sorts of vehicles to finally understand it. Old Toyotas are built different, with a kind of honesty that's very rare. What I've come to realize about these machines is that they are excellent at being themselves. They don't beg for attention, they don't need constant validation. They were designed to do a job, do it well, and keep doing it long after the rest of the world has moved on. In a culture that rewards convenience and disposability, these trucks quietly rebel. They endure. They're not perfect, they rattle, they rust, and they leak, but they invite you into a relationship built on trust and effort. And somewhere in that process of keeping one alive, you start to feel like you're preserving something bigger than just a truck. You're holding on to a time when things were built to be fixed, not replaced. It's the same appreciation you might feel for anything that truly excels at being itself. A well-worn pair of leather boots that mold to your stride. A sharp knife that does exactly what it's meant to do. A paperclip that's so simple it can't be improved. There's a strange kind of beauty in that, in objects that don't try to be more than they are. Old Toyotas belong to that same philosophy. They aren't luxurious or flashy, and they don't pretend to be. They're just relentlessly good at being cars and trucks. And maybe that's what draws people in. Because when you spend enough time around things that are good at being themselves, you start wanting to be a little more like that too. Anyway, that's my soapbox about old Toyota trucks. Now, let's get on with this adventure already, shall we?
Fire in the hole! We had a little bit of an electrical issue.
Living out of a muddy truck gets to be taxing after a few days on the Dempster Highway, so when we see a coin-operated pressure washer on the side of the road, I can't resist.
Well, this is the truck after the Dempster Highway. It is an absolute mess. We got some change and we're gonna give it a spray.
It's not perfect, and even after the machine ate more coins than I expected, the truck is still showing subtle signs of dirt and grit. It's better than nothing though, and it'll be nice not brushing up against all that dirt when we're setting up and taking down camp.
We got the official sticker for Tuktoyaktuk, and it's going on the fridge where all of our other Arctic stickers are going from right in the middle. This one deserves to be right in the middle. So we have a couple of Yukon ones, our Tuktoyaktuk one, our Alaska Highway, our 97, our Highway 97, our Signpost Forest, another Yukon, Inuvik. We're collecting lots of stickers.
Getting down off the Dempster Highway will take another few days. Driving it back south isn't about conquering anything anymore. It's about understanding where you've been and realizing how rare it is to find a road that makes you feel this small and this alive. I find that I'm able to enjoy the ride more on the way south after having reached the end of the road. The way up is full of mystery and the feeling of wondering if you'll be able to make it the full way up. The drive south gives time for reflection and appreciation about where you are in the world and where you're headed next. As the last few miles of the Dempster roll on, I think about the obstacles that lay in front of us. The road ahead will take us first through Dawson City and then across the top of the World Highway into Alaska, a place I've dreamed of reaching for many years. But as that border gets closer, a quiet unease starts to set in. The stories you hear about Alaska, the isolation, the wildlife, the weather, they start to feel less like folklore and more like real possibilities. Getting lost, breaking down, running into a bear, those aren't things that you worry about at home, but out here they become real concerns. Especially when you're trusting a truck with 23 years of rust and hard use behind it to carry you into the unknown. The stakes are rising, and I'm becoming more aware of it with every mile. I keep telling myself that the risk is part of the adventure. That's what makes it real, but I can't help consistently recalculating that balance in my mind. It's critical that our team stays in good health and good spirits for the duration of the adventure. We've made it to Tuktoyaktuk and back, but I still feel like I'm proving something. Proving that I can rebuild and trust an old machine enough to take us through Alaska. I tell myself I can, but every mile closer, that question gets louder. Can we really do it?
We are about to cross the finish line for the Dempster Highway. Just going across the first bridge, out to the sign again. I can't believe we did it. I'm happy to be done. I'm happy that we went up to Tuktoyaktuk. What an incredible experience this has been. The Dempster Highway, you've got to put it on your list. It's amazing. It really is. Okay, so the way that we're going to celebrate the completion of the Dempster is by heading over to Dawson City and doing the Sourtoe shot at the hotel. So we will see you guys in Dawson City.
Dawson City sits at the confluence of the Yukon and Klondike rivers, a place that once pulsed with gold rush fever and still carries that frontier energy. Founded in 1896 during the Klondike Gold Rush, it became one of the wildest and wealthiest towns in the north, drawing thousands of prospectors chasing fortune in the permafrost. Some struck it rich, others struck out. Today, Dawson marks the gateway to the top of the World Highway, a remote and winding route that climbs out of town toward Alaska, offering some of the most stunning high country views in the Yukon.
Can I write your name for you?
Yeah.
I'm filling out the form so that we can take the Sourtoe shot.
But despite its rugged surroundings, Dawson still has a playful streak, best known for the infamous Sourtoe Cocktail, a drink served with a preserved human toe. You can drink it fast, drink it slow, but your lips must touch the toe. We've made our way to the downtown hotel where the Sourtoe Cocktail is served. The place feels like it hasn't changed in decades. Wallpaper, creaky floorboards, dim lights, and a bar that's seen more stories than it could ever tell. It doesn't take long before I catch the captain out of the corner of my eye. He's the man in charge, the keeper of the toe, and the one we'll need to talk to if we want our names written in the Sourtoe history book. There's a strange mix of nerves and excitement in the room. It's part absurd and part legendary. You can't come all this way to Dawson and not at least consider joining the club.
Co-captain, the bartender up there.
How did I get here?
The cocktail is one of those things that sounds like a joke until you see it and realize it's absolutely real.
Oh no. Oh no, no, no.
The tradition started in the 1970s when a preserved human toe was found in a Yukon cabin, believed to have belonged to a rum runner who lost it to frostbite decades earlier.
I guess so.
Are you guys not going? Oh.
Someone dropped it in a drink as a dare, of course, and from there, the Sourtoe legend was born. Over the years, several replacement toes have been donated, often from people who've lost them to frostbite, accidents, or surgery. Each one carries the strange legacy of Dawson City's most infamous cocktail. Is it 100% safe? Well, that's still up for debate. But supposedly, because the toe is pickled in strong alcohol, it should be relatively safe. We've all committed to the drink, and will probably spend the rest of the day questioning the integrity of our digestive systems.
Just lips.
Make sure the sound is on so you catch them gagging.
How many times have you done this before?
13.
Oh my goodness. All right, cheers.
Cheers.
I'm certified. Are you ready? Yeah. You better be. Paparazzi ready?
You drink it fast. You can drink it slow. But your lips must touch this gnarly toe. Just your lips. No teeth. No tongue. No tonsils. What's so funny? This is serious business. Have to check something. Yep, you didn't get it all. You gotta get the toe jam.
Toe jam.
Pay for it. Let's get it all.
Might as well.
Picture?
Go for it.
You got it.
Finish the toe jam.
I think you got it all.
All right. Actually, it's pretty good liquor, actually.
Pretty good?
The next morning, before turning west towards Alaska, we stop in at the Dawson City Museum to dig a little deeper into the history of this place. Dawson has been one of the most intriguing stops on our journey, a town that still feels half trapped in its gold rush past and half alive with the spirit of the North. It's the kind of place that really leaves a mark on you. But as we wrap up at the museum and climb back into the truck, there's something wrong. The house battery that powers our fridge isn't charging anymore. At first, it seems like a small problem, but out here, a dead system can snowball fast. Food and camp power depend on that battery, and if I can't figure out the problem soon, this trip might take a very different turn.
All right, so we are just pulled off in the RV park in Dawson City because we had a little bit of an electrical issue. I noticed that our house battery back here was not charging properly, and so I started checking some connections, and I realized that one of the crimps on our grounds here to our DC charger had come loose, which is not good. You never want a connection like that coming loose. We just did the Dempster Highway and things got really rough at high speeds, so things just rattle loose. So I'm just taking some time to kind of pull everything apart here. I don't have a crimping tool with me, unfortunately. Just a set of pliers, channel locks, and something to really squeeze that connection back on the cable and go from there. Thankfully, we didn't start a fire. It could have been a lot worse because when I tested that connection there, I gave it a wiggle. There were a couple of zinging sparks coming out of it. Not what you want to see. So, like I said, we're pulled over at the RV park here, just getting everything buttoned up again. Hopefully, this solves our issue, but it also makes me want to go and check every single connection on this system here. And I
I consider myself lucky because I built this electrical system, so I know all the ins and outs of it versus, you know, if this was somebody else's system that I was trying to fix and I was trying to diagnose a problem, it would be very difficult. So let's see if this solves our charging issue. Power, we're getting power to the DC-DC charger. So let's check here. Oh, it's charging. Look at that. We're charging again. All right, we are fueled up, groceryed up. We stopped in a museum.
Laundried up.
Laundry's done. We shot the Sourtoe. It's been great. Dawson City has been fantastic. What a unique little place this has been. It's so cool. If you ever have the chance, highly recommend Dawson City. Now we're about to get on the ferry and cross the Yukon River, and then heading towards the top of the world highway, and then into Alaska. So we are planning on crossing into Alaska today, crossing the Canada-US border. Should be interesting because you cross it on top of the world highway, which is a dirt highway. It'll be an interesting day. It's just before 3 o'clock now, and we got about maybe another 100, 150, under 200 Ks to do today. All the way up? Good, thanks. All the way up?
Slowly though. Wait for him.
We've just driven onto the small ferry in Dawson City, ready to cross the Yukon River, the unofficial start of the top of the world highway. Once we reach the other side, pavement becomes gravel and civilization starts to fade in the rearview mirror. From here, there are no gas stations, no restaurants, and no real services for the next few hundred kilometers. It's just winding mountain ridges, endless tundra, and the feeling that you're driving along the spine of the world. Up ahead lies the most northern international border crossing in North America. Beyond that is Alaska. So we're getting to the very tippy top of the world right now, well above the tree line. We've been traveling up now, steadily inclining, going up for about 100 kilometers. And I keep thinking that we're getting to the summit, but then we have more up to go. This is in its own way, it's kind of a hectic road actually. I mean, it's very well they say it's not maintained, but it's not nearly as rough as the Dempster Highway. But I mean, it sure does gain a ton of elevation. Wow, super cool, super impressive. Well, this is it. The moment of truth. Our first time setting foot in the last frontier. If everything goes well at the border crossing. Shades off, big smile, and a kind but confident attitude is usually enough to do the trick. Also, I hold an American passport, so they usually just welcome me home. But that's beside the point. Anyway,
We're in Alaska. I can't believe it. Welcome to Alaska!
our first destination fit the bill for the start of our time in the last frontier, Chicken, Alaska. It's one of the first real communities you hit after crossing the border, and it's an oddball of a place, in the best way. Aside from the giant chicken statue greeting you at the entrance, you'll know you've arrived when you spot an old gold dredge within stumbling distance of the local bar.
I'm gonna go check out a dredge. Giant machine, I believe, used to dig up the riverbed and separate material and hopefully find gold. That's kind of my basic understanding of how a dredge works.
There are only 3 establishments in town: the Chicken Mercantile Emporium, the Chicken Creek Cafe, and the Chicken Creek Saloon. We went with the obvious choice, the bar. The first thing you notice when walking into this place is all the clothing and fabric hanging from the ceiling. Hats, shirts, small flags, and torn underwear, each item left behind by travelers and locals over the years, like a scrapbook of everyone who's passed through. It doesn't take long to realize this place has a colorful past and some weird traditions. Before long, the bartender has filled us in on the town's story. Chicken was founded by gold miners in the late 1800s, drawn here by the promise of riches along Chicken Creek. Legend has it that the miners wanted to name the town after the ptarmigan, a local bird that looks a bit like a chicken, but no one could agree on how to spell it, so they settled on chicken instead.
It gets 80 to 85 degrees below Fahrenheit.
Today, the town has a handful of full-time residents, a few summer businesses, and the reputation as one of Alaska's most eccentric frontier communities. As for the underwear on the ceiling, it's been a local tradition to cut off your underwear, stuff it down into a small homemade cannon mixed with gunpowder, and light it off in the parking lot. After being launched, the shredded remains are collected and then stapled to the ceiling or walls of the saloon. When the question of, are there any volunteers, was brought up, I couldn't help but put my hand up. I want to see what this cannon tradition is all about.
So these are the safety scissors for the underwear cannon that I'm about to do. There we go. There we go. Got it.
We watch apprehensively as 2 experienced men load the cannon, packing it with gunpowder and a pair of donated underwear.
Oh, no.
They tamp it down with a hammer, laughing like they've done this 100 times before, while the rest of us take a few cautious steps backwards.
I don't even know if we're going to get that one. Jeez.
Hammer! Hammer time!
The cannon is brought into the parking lot and someone starts a countdown, and for a moment I'm questioning all my life choices that led me to standing in a gravel parking lot in Chicken, Alaska, about to watch underwear get launched into the sky.
Fire in the hole!
After the explosion, I'm handed a stapler and officially welcomed into the Chicken Saloon Hall of Fame. This evening in Chicken will be one to remember.
There it is.
Thanks for watching episode 3 of this Arctic adventure. Coming up, we push further into Alaska with our sights on Anchorage.